Good morning. I'm Ellen Sentier, and I'm going to spend the next hour talking with you and doing a couple of little exercises on walking with dragons. I love dragons, and dragons are everywhere in Britain. They really are. People have known them forever. We see that in perhaps the most stunning variety of dragon we have is the white horse at Uffington. We know it as a horse, but you look at that picture. I haven't got one here to show you, unfortunately, but I'm sure you know it. And anyway, afterwards, go on Google and bring up the image of the white horse of Uffington in Oxfordshire. It's stunning. And it is a horse, but it's also a dragon. And it's the dragon that's actually at the very centre of Britain. Now, let's make sure that I say everything that I want to say for you, because otherwise I might make a mistake. So I'm going to keep an eye on my notes. First thing perhaps to think about is the word dragon. It comes from the Greek drakon, and drakon means the gazer, the one who stares. And the stories do talk about that. Never meet a dragon's eye. If you look in the dragon's eye, then you will be captured, you will be enchanted. The dragon's eye sees. The dragon's eye gazes everywhere. And that's really important with the Uffington horse. So the dragon's eye can see everything and sees everywhere. And when you look into that eye, you see everything too. You see everywhere. And it's quite amazing. The white horse, the head of the white horse, and it's actually on a hill called Dragon Hill. The head has the eye. And I mean, it's huge. It'd take you quite a while just to walk on the lines of it. But when you go there, when you go there, go and stand on the eye. Walk up to the horse. It's a nice path. And as you get closer, you'll probably start to feel the energy, maybe a tingling in your legs. That's what I get. And you think, whoa, I'm getting there. And it comes up through your feet. And you get closer to the horse, to the dragon. And then you get to her head and you say, may I stand in your eye? And you'll almost certainly get a yes. I have had a no a couple of times, and that no actually just meant wait, that there was something going to happen and that I should wait for a day, it was at one time, and then come back and then do it again. So I did. So listen to the dragon. She only tells you no when there's something happening that means you shouldn't be there at that time. And when she tells you yes, go and stand in that eye. It's like a spiral. The energies spiral up through you and down, like the double helix, because it is the two that happen. In fact, it's very like this card from Cheska Potter's wonderful wonderful tarot pack. And there is the card. Now, you see, she has dragons, but they're also horses. They're also unicorns. And they spiral and twine together. And we have the red dragon and the white, and that is traditional in this country. Those are particular colours that our dragons and two particular dragons take in this country. And they spiral up this central pole of light, which the dragons connect to, as you see, by their horns, and below, which you can't see, with their tails. So they're completely connected to this light. And you feel that as you stand on the dragon's eye at Uffington. Now, it's really interesting because the first big ley line discovery that people made was a couple of friends of mine, and that's Hamish Miller and Paul Broadhurst, and there they are on the back of their book. Oh, I can never do this reversing. There we go. Sitting on a tour on Dartmoor. Hamish is the beardy one on there, my finger's on him, and Paul is the other one. Wonderful people. Hamish was one of the people who actually taught me to dowse, and they explored the Michael Mary line, and they wrote this book, The Sun and the Serpent. And you can still get it, and it really is worth reading. It's such a good explanation of walking this kind of thing, of walking the dragons. And they did. You've probably heard of the Michael Mary line. It goes all the way from Land's End to a place called, now what is it? Hapton. It's near Hapton in Essex. And it goes practically through the dragon. The curly dragon lines that they found do. And they found, as they walked the line, that there was this central intention pole that went straight through, the ley line type pole, and around it were these two lines of energy. Now, people hadn't really thought about that too much when Hamish and Paul were doing it first. I mean, they had, and some people had actually written about it already, almost 100 years before, but it wasn't that well known. And then they found it as they walked, this double spiral twining round the central ley line of the Michael Mary line. Now, as I said, somebody had written about this back in the 19th century, and they had found three lines. As they found the Michael Mary line, that's there on their drawing, and they also found the line which has been investigated much more closely, fairly recently, by Gary Bitcliffe and what's her name? Gary Bitcliffe and Caroline Hall, and they have investigated this line that goes straight up through the country. It goes from the Isle of Wight, Portsmouth, up to the northern point of Scotland, Cape Wrath, and that goes through the Eye of the Dragon. Again, it goes through the dragon. So you have the Michael Mary line going through, and this vertical line going through, and meeting at the dragon. Now, they found that this was very much a line connected for them, first of all, through Bel, our sun god. They call him Belinus. And so they followed that. But then they found, again, they found this double line. They found there was this central pole, which went from the little rocks at the end of the Isle of Wight, right up through to Cape Wrath. And around it twined this double line. And so they asked, and they discovered that the one line was indeed Bel, the sun, and the other line was Ellen, Ellen of the Ways, Ellen, our dear goddess, our Earth Mother goddess. And so it's become the Belinus Ellen line. So, okay, we have that one, and we have that one. And there's a third one, indeed. And that one goes from, now let me see if I can get this right, from near Lydd in Romney Marsh, that's sort of down in Essex, right up to, guess where? Bardsey Island, off the North Wales coast. Now, Bardsey Island, for those of you who know your legends, is Merlin's Island. It's where Merlin went when he found that he needed to sleep, in a sense. He died and he's gone, but he's still there. This is in the cave stuff. And he went to Bardsey Island for his last few time on Earth, his last few years. And he went there and he translated there, so that he is now waiting and watching from Otherworld, but still has a link there. So this third line connects from down Romney Marsh, a very special place, Romney Marsh. If you've not been there, go. It really is stunning. From Romney Marsh up to the northwest coast of Wales and Bardsey Island. And you can go to Bardsey Island. A bit of a rough trip in the boat, because the Irish Sea is usually choppy and very, very occasionally still, but you can go. And I used to know someone who lived there, and whoa, it is something else. It is really gorgeous. So we have these three lines. We have the Michael Mary line, and we have the Bolinas line, hi people, and we have the, shall I call it the Merlin line? I think I will. The Merlin line, going from Romney up to Bardsey Island. That hasn't been investigated by anybody yet. So, you know, if you're into this kind of thing, I think Paul Broadhurst is still around. Hamish died a few years back, which was very sad, because I liked having him around, but, you know, he's fine. And certainly Gary and Caroline are around, so talk to them and say, you'd like to help investigate this line, because I'm sure they'd be very happy to have some more help. And read their book on the Bolinas line. That's another one that's worth reading, about how you investigate it. So, apart from all the other dragons that we have in Britain, we have three big ones. And they all meet together at the Uffington White Dragon horse. I think that's a bit special. It is a very special place. If you've not actually visited it yet, please do. You will love it. And you can walk all along the Ridgeway track. I wild camped along it, and it's fine. Just be kind and careful and make sure you don't make a mess. And visit Wayland's Smithy there, which is not very far away. It's about a mile. And it's really good there too, so do visit it. So, we have these three big lines, these three big dragons, who are sort of doing this in three directions, crossing at the White Horse. So they're like a double helix, this twining. And we know the double helix very well from DNA, and possibly these lines, these dragon lines that twine, are also double helix. And maybe one of their jobs, but only one, might be similar to DNA in that it holds and carries the information that we will need to learn. People used to meet at the White Horse of Uffington, and till not very long ago, actually. I think it sort of degraded down into a horse fair, but still things happened. And I understand that the Romany people still meet there occasionally. We would meet there maybe to check in with these lines, to stand in the eye, to stand around the horse. And Druids certainly have their own ceremonies there still. And check in with those energies and see what kind of wisdom they have got for us now. Because this always changes, and the lines always give you what you need at the moment if you ask for it. So, there's something else about these lines and the twining of the dragons. They're an expression of the creative duality that creates everything in the whole cosmos, not just on the world. And it's like one is the god and one is the goddess. Got that back to front. Naughty me. One is the goddess and the other is the god. Because one of the big things that our old ways is that we know that we are mother-led and that the father figure is the guardian figure, the guardian of the earth, the guardian of the mother. And they also work with what creates life for us here on earth. Now, what is that? We have the earth, third rock from the sun, and we wouldn't live without that. We've got to have a base, a grounding, a place to be. But the earth cannot be alive without the light and the energy and the fire of the sun. So we have the goddess who is holding the rock. She is the rock. And we have the god who is the sun, who is transmitting the life. Now, remember those, because we're going to do a little exercise on them in a little bit. But we need to do a bit more first before we go there. Now, there's a difference between dragon lines and ley lines. You probably grasped that already. The ley line is like the central pole of light, the intention, and ley lines leap from point to point across the land. They go straight. And dragon lines don't. Dragon lines curl and twine and curl and twine, and they're often, if you can find them, and it's not that hard, they will be the ancient paths that our ancestors, maybe 10,000 years ago and more, walked. Some of our paths are that old, they really are. And they're also animal paths. Now, the animals have been here a lot longer than humans. We've been around for maybe 5 million years, and that's in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of years that all the animals have been around. They've been walking these lines, and they know. Have more people? If you've got animals, and fortunate enough to have animals who live with you, I hate calling them pets. I really loathe that. So if you've got animals who've chosen to live with you and who do, it's worth talking with them, because they're very connected and they would love to talk with you about this stuff, really. But they're not going to intrude if you don't want to. Other worlds never do that. Other worlds always wait for you to say, hey, I'm around, I'm listening, and I don't know what to ask, but I'm asking anyway. Show me what I need to know now. And your animals will do that, and they will help you line up with the lines. We've all heard about cats and dogs, and horses too, who will stand on or lie on a particular spot. And where that spot is very often, if you're into this thing, and you can find it, you will find a nexus of dragon lines, a place where two or more dragon lines cross. And that has this energy. When you stand on it, and you just sort of stand and let go, and feel with your feet, cut this thing, cut the brain, feel with your feet, and let that energy flow up, and whoa, you're standing on this spiral, this vortex that is coming up, but it's also coming down as well. And you're like, whoa, this is happening inside me. And yay, it is. That's it. That's the dragon's helping you with it. So ask your animals to help you. And another thing this is like, really going to be into this card today. This card is like what they call the caduceus, which is the healer's staff, which again is the staff, and the oldest version, the modern versions only have one snake going up, but the oldest versions have two snakes going up, if you go really far back. And I mean, this goes back thousands of years, this image. It's not just the modern medical profession. And it's like the people who did this, who did the Caduceus stuff and learned it, and they were the old healers, of course, to start with, who really did know, they knew to connect in this way with dragons. This is all about actually walking with them, because we can. And we're going to do an exercise fairly soon that's going to help you actually walk with dragons. So, there we have these 3 lines crossing Britain. And they're 3 lines that are all lines of triple energy. This and the central pole. Now, we're not the only country that has this. The whole world is networked and crisscrossed with these lovely lines, these triple energy lines. And it looks like a great net when you can see. And standing on the eye of the White Horse of Uffington might help you do that, because that's what the dragon sees. And as I said, the dragon is the gazer, the one who stares. You can see through them. And there's like this network all over the earth. And sort of, we've got it, we're using it now. We've got our own version of the internet. I couldn't be doing this, you know, even 10 years ago it would have been harder. And 20 years ago it would have been like, really? But we have it now. And we can learn to connect. Now this is, at first, very head stuff. I mean, most of us find that computer stuff is, you know, you need to use your head, otherwise it doesn't work. But it's also, when you sort of realise, it's like a mirror, a tiny copy of what the universe does. Because, yes, we have this network all over the world. But guess what? We have this network apparently right through the cosmos. You've probably heard of dark energy and dark matter, and that scientists are really interested and working hard to try their best to find out what this is, at least find out more about what this is. Scientists are not stupid. I've known a lot in my life. I mean, cutting edge types. And they do not expect that they are suddenly going to find the answer. There ain't one. There's more than we know now, and always more than we know now. But this is so huge. So they're chasing into dark energy and dark matter. And you can't see dark matter, and you can't see dark energy. That's why it's called dark. It's not because it's dark and evil or anything like that. It's actually the whole, they think, the whole thing that keeps us alive. So it's quite stunning. But they can see where it's been and where it sort of leaves a hole. So instead of seeing a thing, you see a hole. It's quite complicated. Went to a fantastic lecture up at Jodrell Bank on this, and this lovely woman was telling us about her investigations into it. And anyway, they've got all this idea of how these holes work, and they can sort of plot them on the sky map. And they've done this, and they've done what they call a digital simulation of points of dark energy and how they connect. When I've done this talk, I'll put a picture of it up below on this post where the talk is, so you can actually see what I mean. And I'll try and remember to put a picture of the White Horse of Uffington up too. And if there was something else, I'll look in my notes and check if there's something else out to put a picture up of. And connections to the books. Anyway, so it isn't just us in Britain. It isn't just us on Earth. It's the whole cosmos is connected by these dragon lines. They've also found that they all spiral, that movement across the universe is a spiral, and that's how it works. Now, I find that absolutely gloriously stunning. And this idea of the spiraling. So, what we have with the Earth and with the cosmos, with Britain and the rest of the Earth, we have as above, so below. The one is mirrored in the other. And so it goes on and on and on and on and on. Have you seen those fractals, the sort of chaos diagrams, where you've got the one picture and it goes expand, 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 expand. And it's the same picture that is just making up the bigger picture all the time. I'm trying to remember to put one of those up too. Hope I remember all this. Somebody might post me and say, you haven't done it. Post, please. So everything that we have and see here in Britain is again mirrored larger in the whole Earth and mirrored larger across the whole cosmos. I said about the goddess and the god and this twining. It's their wedding. They are continuously wedding each other as they spiral and twine together. They're continually joining. They are this creative duality that makes life happen, that we see in a small way, and it is small compared to the universe, in the way that the earth enlivens the sun. And then I beg your pardon, the sun enlivens the earth. But the earth does actually enliven the sun too. And there are diagrams that show how this, they call it electromagnetic energy, spirals together. And that's dragons too. If you want to learn more about this, if you go on my YouTube channel, yes, another thing to put up, I've done a video on it called Heart and Hind. Heart and Hind. Heart is the male red deer and hind is the female red deer, and that's another version of the goddess and the god. So I will put up a link to Heart and Hind, and I've done much more explanations of how this works there. So have a look at that if you feel like it. So, everywhere, all across the universe, we have the wedding of the goddess and the god, the dragons, together. And the dragons are transmitting this energy. They carry the energy. They are the energy. And they also transmit it as they move through the earth. This is what we're feeling when we walk. And when we walk dragon lines, which is the curved paths, the ancient curved paths. And you've probably heard of things like the twisted path in some of our witch ways. And unfortunately, because of Christianization, the twisted path has become evil. And it isn't. It is dragons. Another thing that's happened there is we have St. George of England killing the nasty, mean and evil dragon, and St. Michael killing the dragon. Now we did do, about the time of Paul and Hamish's walk, there was a lot of research going on that, and we were involved in that, my husband Paul and I. And it's not killing. Who's had acupuncture? Lots of you. Lots of you had acupuncture. That's lovely. I've had acupuncture. It's great. And the acupuncturist puts a needle into a particular point where the lines of qi are to help them move in particular ways. Because it's that when the qi gets stuck is when something happens that makes you in pain or sick or unable in some way. So if you can stir that energy a bit with the needle in the point, then it will help it to move. that saying anything to you? Are these Saints George and Michael, who were there long before there were any ideas of saints, these heroes, people, magicians? Are they doing that for the earth? Now, the research that we did back in the 70s and 80s seemed to show that they were, because there are lots and lots of places that are dragon points where a worm, you know, W-Y-R-M, which are one of our old words, a Norse word really, for dragon, have been killed. But I don't think so. And neither did all of us in the research. From the more we did and the more we learned from the old stories and the old songs and the place names and actually just going and working there as well, no, it's like those were acupuncture points on the earth in Britain. People did this all over Europe, as I know, and they probably have done it in all sorts of places all over the world. But I do know about the British ones and about some of what went on in Europe as well, and maybe still going on. So we learned that we can actually help by acupuncturing that point. And we made our story that the acupuncturist, the magician, George, put his spear into the dragon at that point. Now, it comes up as a picture of a poor wretched dragon who's been stabbed. I really don't like them. It's sort of, you know, and I couldn't kill a dragon, not for anything. Anyway, what actually happens is it goes in, like the acupuncture needle goes into you, and you, when I've had it, and I've heard a lot of people get this, at that point, there may be a sudden sort of clenching at first, and then, I have shiatsu now, and that is working on those pressure points, but without putting needles in. You work with your hands and your fingers. And it's the same thing. You get pressure on that point, and it's like, you get the release. So, how about that? Is that what all this killing of dragons is about, really? But, again, the poor Christians can't cope with that, because it means that their priests are probably going to be run out of a job because we won't need them, as we never did before, because we have the wise ones in the village, like we did when I grew up, but we also, the wise ones, they show us, they tell us, so we don't have to be ignorant of ourselves. We don't have to listen to somebody else's script. We can know it of our own selves and know it in our own bones. So, Georges and Michaels, maybe you're all magicians and acupuncturists. That'd be good. So, where are we? How have I got on? How am I doing? Oh, right, yes, important thing before we do the exercise, because it'll help you. Right. I said the dragons transmit the energy, and the dragon killing points are acupuncture points where we help the dragon energy to move. And we have this central pole. The central pole connects Earth to the sun, through us, through our world here. And it connects the lower world, the world of the ancestors, with our world here, this world, and with upper world. Right. So what are lower world, this world, and upper world? Lower world is all that has been, ever, at least for the 4.5 billion years of Earth, and probably ever before Earth even existed. Because the lower world didn't come to life with Earth. The lower world has always been here. So the lower world is everything that has been. This world is everything that is now, is this moment. And upper world is everything that could be, all that is possible, all that will be. Now you're seeing something. As we live in this world, so each moment is different from any before it, she says, quoting from Incredible String Band. And each moment is now. But that now is gone. And that now then goes into lower world, into what has been. And a new one comes in. So what is possible? The new things from upper world are coming in all the time, transmuting through us and the dragons, and going into lower world. But it's not just a one-way exchange, because sometimes we need the past. So we delve down and we go into what has been, the ancestors, and they're much more than just people. And we draw it back up and we use it. And maybe something new comes up, and that becomes a potential for the future. A bit like, you know, science was looking for the boson, the Higgs boson, and that was a potential that we were looking for. And he'd found it by work with stuff that already had been, and he worked with it where it is, and so did everybody else. And it became an idea that could happen. And then they made it. They just did the right thing at the right moment, and it came, and then they got the Higgs boson. And so it became this world again. And now that event has gone back down into here, into what has been, the lower world. And we're making some sense of the three worlds now. So, you know, we have this continual like this. Guess what? We have this continual like this. We have the dragons transmitting the energy. Little. Okay, yeah. Right. And that is what that central pole is about, that connection. Now, okay, so make yourself sit comfortable. Just, and don't want any posh poses or anything like that. Just be comfortable. All your shoulders, make sure you're relaxed a bit. You know, your bum's fine wherever it's sat, and your feet are fine. And come with me, because we're going here. We're going to journey with the dragons between the earth and the sun. So, here we go. Just be still, be quiet, be gentle, and just watch your breathing. Sense into your breathing. Don't try to change anything, just watch yourself breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And just get used to that. Feel it happening. And feel, as you feel your breath flowing through you, just feel your muscles relax and your mind let go. And there you are, open. Open. Now, when you're ready, feel a spark of light in your heart. And feel that spark of light just travelling, just coming out of your heart, like out of a cave, the cave of the heart. That spark of light comes out of the cave to your spine, and it goes down your spine, all the way down through your tailbone, and it goes on into the crust of the earth, into the soil, through the carpet, into the soil, into the top of the earth, and it goes on through the crust and into the rocks. And that thread, that spark of light, spark of light is pulling a lovely thread of light with it. And it goes down through the rocks. And it gets brighter and warmer. And now the thread is going down through the wonderful molten rock. Right on down. Right to the very heart of the earth. And feel your spark come into the cave at the heart of the earth. And it's not dark. It's glowing and warm. See the deep colours there of the warmth. And as you stand there looking in your spark with your thread, as you stand there looking, you see another spark, bright fiery spark, and it comes towards you, and you realize it's the spark of the heart of the earth herself. The earth herself has come to you, and she greets you, kisses you, and you hold each other for a moment. And now, Earth Spark says, come with me. I'll take you on a journey. So she takes your hand of your spark, and you together, you follow your own thread back up to your heart. But the earth is carrying hers with her. So there are two threads that go back up through the molten rocks, up through the solid rocks, up through the crust of the earth, up through into your spine. Feel them now, feel them going up your spine. And they go past your heart and further up your spine, up through your neck, through your head. And they come out of the top of your head. Earth takes you. And your two threads out through the top of your head into the atmosphere. And you go up and up through the atmosphere, out of the edge of the atmosphere, and into the wonderful bright darkness of space. And on she takes you straight to the sun. And you come closer, and there are the wonderful flames coming out, so beautiful. They don't burn you, and they don't burn her. And she dives with you right into them, into the fire of the sun. And you go deeper and deeper and deeper, right to the very heart of the sun. And there you are, in the sun cave, bright and golden and white and beautiful, dazzling, but you can see. You're looking through dragon's eyes. And as you and Earth stand there, looking and waiting, another beautiful spark comes. You see this wonderful, fiery spark coming towards you. Look at the colours there. Look at the beauty. And that is the heart of the sun. And the heart of the sun comes to you, and first he says, "Greetings, lady." And then he greets you. And the three of you stand together in the heart of the sun, hugging. Just feel that. Feel the sun spirit and the earth spirit holding you there in the heart of the sun. And now, Sunspark says, "Come, come, let us go down." And so Sunspark grabs both your hand and Earthspark's hand and dives down your double thread, bringing his. So there are now 3 threads going down. And he dives out of the sun and out across the bright, sparkly darkness of space. And he dives through the atmosphere, down, down through the atmosphere. And there you are. And Sunspark dives straight in through the top of your head, where your and Earthspark's threads are coming out. And now there are 3 threads. And they travel through your head and down your spine. And they go all the way past your heart, down to the very heart of the earth again. And there, at the heart of the earth, the 3 of you dance. You, Earthspark and Sunspark, dance in the cave of the heart of the earth. And now, Earthspark says, come, let us go back. And so the 3 of you dive back up her thread, up through the earth, up your spine, out of the top of your head and across the atmosphere and across space. And you dive back into the heart of the sun. And there, in the wonderful sparkling cave that is the heart of the sun, the 3 of you dance again. And now, your dance slows, your spinning slows, and you stand, the 3 of you. And Sunspark looks at you and at Earthspark and says, that was good. Will you come and do it again? And you say, yes, I will. I will come and do it again. And Sunspark says, now it's time for you to go. You need to go back into this world and live your life a little bit more. But come back and visit with me and with Earth again. And he kisses you goodbye, and he kisses Earth. And Earth takes your hand and leads you down the threads, only 2 threads now, out of the sun, across the sparkling darkness of space, down through the atmosphere and down through the top of your head. And you go past your heart and down your spine and down through the crust of the earth, through the rocks, through the molten rocks. And there you are back in the cave of the heart. And there you and Earth dance for a moment, hug and dance. And Earthspark slows the dance, and you stand holding hands opposite each other. And Earthspark says, it's time for you to go now, back to this world, live your life a bit more. But please come and visit me again. And you say, yes, I will. I certainly will. And Earthspark lets go your hands, bends to give you a final kiss. And then you turn, taking your thread with you, And you travel out of the cave of the heart of the earth, up through the molten rocks, up through the solid rocks, through the crust of the earth, and up your spine. And there you are again at your heart. And your thread is all coiled up behind you, with you now. And you go back into your heart and sit there just for a moment, feeling where you've been and what you did. So sit now in the comfort and warmth and delight of the cave of your heart. Spend just a moment remembering what you have just done. And now, open your eyes if you've had them shut. Bring your consciousness back into your body. Be in your body. Feel it. Shrug your shoulders. Wiggle your fingers and your toes and move your feet and your legs. Maybe have a big stretch and a yawn. And come back here, into this world. The world that is, the world of now. And you've visited the earth, and you've visited the sun, the big dragons who keep us alive. You've walked with them, danced with them, and you understand more about the dragons who hold our beautiful country, Britain, and who hold our beautiful earth, and who are also part of and hold and are the network of our cosmos, where we all live. There's lots more you can learn, and you can, and you will. But that's the end of your journey for today. But I have something more for you. At Lammas, this coming Lammas, that will be the 1st of August. Please the gods that I managed to hit the deadline. We're having a new site is going up. That's my colleague Fiona Dove. I'll put a link to her under this post as well. We've been working together for 20 years. She was a student of mine over 20 years ago, and we found that we really worked together. So she's been helping me with the teaching and doing her own, because she does some marvellous stuff herself. So we're doing a joint site together where we can offer lots of stuff online, videos, and not the stuff that we've been doing before, which has been partly online but not this kind of interactive stuff. So this is going to be a really interactive site. There's lots of video lessons that you can do at your own pace and walk through. And amongst them will be the Earth Sun. There will also be more on walking with dragons and lots more other things for you as well. The journey I did yesterday, the Enchanted Forest, well, that was a wee little journey, but we're starting a new course where you can do that very deeply for yourself, and that'll be on the site too. So I think the landing page for the site is going to go up very shortly, so you can check in there and just see where it is. And there'll be a place there for those of you who want to put your name down on the list, and we'll make sure that you get previewed and that you're there at the beginning. So 1st of August, Lammas is the time to think about it. And it will be the Deer Trods tribe, because all of this is following the Deer Trods. Dragon lines and Deer Trods are deeply related. So it'll be a new site, and you will find the Earth Sun exercise that we have just done there, so you can do it again and learn it and get it into your bones, along with lots more as well that we have for you. So this is all going to happen come Lammas, harvest time. Very good time for it to come out. Harvest of our 20 years work together, Fiona and I, and bringing forward a gift and a feast for you. So we're looking forward to it, and we shall look forward to having all of you and working with you as you want to, and we will see you then. Now I have to leave you now because you're going to get the next person very soon. But if you want to know more of me, Wise Woman Shamans on Facebook, you'll find me there a lot, and Ellen Sentier Instagram, you'll find stuff there, and you can find out more about me. You can get all my books on Amazon, and do have a read, because they'll tell you lots more about me, and you'll be able to see whether you like what I do or whether you want to get involved. And they teach you a lot. They're all based in the old British ways. That was what I was taught, because I was brought up in a family who always walked the old paths, and their people before them and their people before them, going back hundreds and hundreds of years. The old stuff is here in Britain. It's just we've been learning to keep our heads down for at least 2,000 years now, so that we don't get persecuted. Not a good idea. And so we disappear. We just look like everybody else in the supermarket. But we're here, and we're working, and we really are coming out now. So you'll find more people, and I do link to friends of mine I know who work this way as well. So it won't be the only people that you can find. You'll be able to find others as well. There's a great deal of good in diversity in this work, just as there is in the ecology. So it's been lovely working with you this morning, and now there is somebody else that you'll probably want to go and see, and there's certainly more people that I want to go and watch on Rooted and Wild, which has been such fun. I'm really enjoying it, and fortunately I've got today and tomorrow that I can go and look at more people and see what they do and enjoy their workshops and their music. Some of the music is gorgeous, really is. So go and enjoy. Have a really good time and really enjoy yourselves. Online festivals are good. They bring us together. They bring us into that network, the internet, our version of the Dragon Lines, the Dragon Network that covers the Earth. We need to use it more. That's another reason why Fiona and I are starting this site. We need to get connected. And it's very hard when we live all over the place and have different lives with different times. So use the Dragon Network, use the internet, enjoy this online festival. It's great. And may you all have wonderful times with your dragons, walking with your dragons, and living in your own heart cave, but moving out and going to live with dragons in their cave for a short while, and learn from them, and speak with them, and walk with them. So, great to be with you, and you'll find me online, as I said. So, take care, and have a wonderful time at the rest of the festival. Bye for now.